Hey cruisers, it is Monday. No, it is Tuesday. Man, my weeks are all out of whack because yesterday I worked from home. So I'm just kind of chilling out down here in my living room, got my space heater on. And I was thinking about something on my way home today. I was actually listening to um, a YouTube video. I had YouTube pulled up on my phone. Um, Not watching it because I was driving, but I had it pulled up so I could listen to the chatter. And I got to thinking about my cruises coming up, and they were talking about fees and such, and specifically they were talking about the fees, the taxes and such that Norwegian was charging for going to Hawaii, even though that tax isn't quite completely instated yet. They're already charging for it. Anyway, it got me thinking about cruising, which is not surprising because we all know I think about cruising a lot. But it got me thinking about fees and things, and I have a few cruises coming up this year, but the two most recent, in the early part of the year, I have a cruise coming up in March with Carnival, and I have one coming up in June on Royal Caribbean. And it got me thinking, I have some clients that are going to be cruising as well. And, just things that you don't think about when you cruise. You see that price tag when you book that cruise fare, and they say, the fare it includes your uh, your your taxes and port fees and your room, right? So when you book your cruise, I've got a little cheat sheet because I came home and wrote down some notes. When you book your cruise, that number that you see there, it's per person, usually your cabin's based on double occupancy. Some cabins can hold, 3 or 4, maybe even 5 people. And then you might go up into your suites that may hold more, but typically double occupancy, maybe up to 4 people. Once you have more than 4 people, usually you're looking at getting maybe a large suite that would have more people, or you're looking at multiple rooms. But at any rate, it made me think about, what all is included in your fare. What are you getting for that amount of money that you are paying? Because, we know that it's your cruise fare and um, it's your port fees and taxes, right? But what else? What are you getting for that? So what's included in that price that you're paying? It's going to be your food, your basic. I don't want to say basic food because it's not really basic. I mean, it's good food. It's not Michelin star dining, but it's pretty daggum good. So you have usually at least one main dining room on your ship. Sometimes you have multiple. Um, but you have your main dining room, that food is included. Um, there are quite often some places around the ship that you can eat. So, like, I know on Carnival, for instance, I've only cruised Carnival. That's changing this year. I'm adding in a Royal Caribbean and an MSC. So I'll have more information on that once I have experienced those. But, on Carnival, they have probably on just about every ship now, they have a Guy's burger joint. They have a Blue Iguana cantina. Those are included. I know on your Vista class ships, they have Gigi's Asian Kitchen and La Cucina del Capitano. And at lunch, you can eat there included in your meal. If you go in the evening, it is specialty dining, and that's an upcharge. But at lunch, you can go there and eat, and it's included in your fare. So you have some things like that on the ship. So there's usually some other venues that you can eat at besides the main dining room. Of course, there's also the buffet. The buffet's always free, or included, I should say, because it's not technically free. You paid for it. It's a part of your fare. You've got basic drinks, and what I mean by basic drinks are you've got your coffee, your teas, And by tea, I'm talking about like your unsweetened, like iced tea, not premium tea bags. They may have tea bags in the buffet, but not your premium tea bags. Um, at dinner, you can get a hot tea, again, not your premium tea bags, to do your hot tea. But you do have some tea options. So you've got your coffee, your tea, your water, lemonade. In the morning, they're going to have some juices that you can get. When you're having your breakfast, you can get some juices. Trying to think what else. Coffee, tea, water, juice, lemonade. So those are all options that are included in your cruise fare. Of course, it's going to include your cabin, your stateroom, your port fees and taxes. Some things that you're going to need to budget for, in addition to that fare you've already paid, you've got to budget for and plan for your transportation to and from the port. Whether that be your airfare or maybe you're driving, you're going to need to get yourself there. If you're flying in, you're going to need to add in either a rental car or your Uber fees or your shuttle options. Those are things you're going to need to take into consideration. I've so far have only driven. I've not saying I won't ever fly, but so far I've only driven. So parking fees are something that I have to think about. So that is one thing that you need to budget for. You need to figure out how you're going to get to your cruise and plan for your transportation to get there, whatever that looks like. Your lodging, it's very highly, strongly recommended that you get to your cruise port, terminal, city, a day before at minimum, before you cruise, because things happen. Flights get canceled. Freak weather happens. Or maybe, you're booking so far out. Maybe it's not a freak weather event. It's forecasted, but you booked that cruise 6 months ago, and 6 months ago, nobody knew that we were going to have a polar vortex, right? Or whatever they're calling it. So you need to prepare for that, plan for that, give yourself time to get there early. So you're at minimum going to be staying at least the night before your cruise in that city. So that's one thing you need to look at. Maybe you want to build in a couple of days, maybe explore the city a little bit. So that's something you want to budget for as well. Maybe after the cruise, you don't want to leave quite right away. You want to, get off the ship, go find a room, explore the city that way. I'm not saying you do or don't need to do that. It is just an option. But I strongly encourage you to go ahead and make sure you're getting into your city, your port city, at least the day before. Having said that, this wasn't on my list, but having said that, you really, really, really need to look at getting some travel protection, some travel insurance. You can get that through the cruise line, but it's not going to cover your trip from beginning to end. It's going to cover your cruise trip. So at the very minimum, you need to get at least the cruise line, but I strongly encourage you to look at other options like through, my brain just went blank, but like Chubb or Allianz or Alliance, however you want to say it. And there's other companies as well, but you want to look at policies that are going to cover you from the time you leave your house. It's going to cover your airfare or your travel, your drive travel down. It's going to cover if you miss ports, if you get sick, if you have to be airlifted. Those are things that are really important. So strongly encourage you to look at your insurance options for your cruise, your vacation protection. And really anytime you travel, that's really important. If you're interested in that, I can help you get a quote on some travel insurance through Allianz. They're really good. But also I said transportation, parking fees I talked about. You're going to park at the port if you drive. most likely. Some people do park in off-site parking. I've only parked at the port thus far, with the exception of I've parked at families' homes that live nearby a cruise port. I've done that and gotten a ride in, but you are going to need to account for some parking fees, most likely. And then the thing that you don't hear a whole lot about is those I don't say pre, but the gratuities. Every cruise line charges a gratuities fee. They can be prepaid if you would like to prepay them. If you don't prepay them, the cruise line's going to charge you at the end of your cruise. It's going to be added to your onboard spending account, and that is going to be something that they will assess toward the end of your cruise. And that can be a quite expensive endeavor here. I just jotted down what those fees were. So on Royal Caribbean, for a standard room, it's $18.50 per person per day. And for a suite, it's $21 per person per day. On Carnival, it is $16 per person per day for a standard room and $18 for suites per person per day. So you'll want to account for that when you cruise. So if you don't choose to prepay those gratuities, just know that those are going to be added to your cruise fare, or I'm sorry, to your onboard spending account at the end of your cruise. Now, one thing that I did learn, and it's what I do personally, I don't typically add my prepaid gratuities before final payment, just because I don't want to have to come up with that little bit of extra money. I like to give myself a little bit more time. So I don't usually add my prepaid gratuities. Then I make my final payment. I get my cruise secured so that, I know it's paid for. I am going to be on that ship. That is my main goal. Once I get my cruise paid off, then I go back in and I can pay those gratuities. I can add those back on. That's how I like to do it. If I have my cruise paid off and I have the extra, whatever that amount is, if it's, an extra 200, 300, 1,000, whatever, depends on how many people I'm, traveling with and how many are in my room and how long the trip is. That's going to determine what your gratuities are going to be. Once my cruise fare is paid and my trip is secured, then I'll get those gratuities paid. I don't personally like to wait until the end to pay them. I like to pay them before I get on the ship, but I can go either way. But that is something that you're going to want to do. And those are the main, in a sense, non-negotiables that you have on your cruise. There's some optional stuff, and you can take it or leave it, as you want. You don't have to do any of them. You can do all of them. It's just how much you want to spend. Some of those optional items are going to be things like your specialty dining. Just about every ship is going to have specialty dining options. Not all of them are sit down. Some of them are, like a counter service, but you still have to pay for those specialty items. So I know, like on Carnival, there's like a seafood shack. I can't think of that. I don't remember if that's the name of it or not, but there's a seafood place that you can go up and you can order your seafood items, like maybe lobster rolls or crab legs or whatever, and those are for an added fee. There's a sushi place that you can go to, which is Bonsai Sushi. That's on Carnival, and it's really good. You can go there and you can order sushi. You don't typically need a reservation. I'm not sure on the larger ships, like the Excel class ships, if you do, but I know that when I was on Vista, you could just walk up and get a table. But that was really good. So you do have some specialty dining options. You have, on quite a few of the ships, you have like a steakhouse or maybe a seafood restaurant. I know on the Excel class ships, I think it's Rudy's Grill or something like that. You may have like a Cina del Capitano and Gigi's Asian Kitchen, which are specialty restaurants. Again, you can get lunch there. It's just like a noodle type thing. You pick your noodle, you pick your meats, that kind of thing. Or maybe if it's the pasta place, you're picking your noodle and your meats and your sauce. So it's just kind of it's a quick service, and it's included in your fare. But at night, it's a whole different menu, and it's delicious. I've been to both. On your larger ships, on your Excel class ships, you also have Chibang. Chibang and La Cucina del Capitano on the Excel class ships do give you one included meal at those restaurants in the evening, and after that, I want to say it's like $8 a person if you choose to go back. So there is specialty dining, and there are tons of options for that on various ships. Alcoholic drinks, or your drink packages, or really any drinks in general that are not those basic drinks that I mentioned before, those are not included, but you can get a drink package, or you can buy them a la carte. So if you think that maybe you might have just one, maybe two cocktails a day, a drink package is probably not going to be for you, like an alcoholic drink package. Both Carnival and Royal Caribbean have your drink packages that do include alcoholic beverages, and they have a drink package that does not include alcoholic beverages. So you want to look at both of those options. It's a stable pricing on Carnival. It's dynamic pricing on Royal Caribbean. So there's usually it's on sale. I won't say it's on sale cheap, but it is on sale. So, and that rate can fluctuate. So there are drink packages available. And again, you can get it, you cannot get it. Just know that you're going to be paying per drink. So sodas, waters, if you're wanting bottled water, those are not included in your standard fare. The water that is included is just it's like from the fountain. It's not bottled water. The bottled water is extra. If you want Wi-Fi, that is going to come at a cost to you. Some cruise lines, it's extremely expensive. I was listening today to, as I mentioned before, the YouTube video, and they were talking about how Disney has raised theirs up to like $50 per device. And that's just crazy. I would not be getting Wi-Fi at that price. But Carnival has a tiered Wi-Fi packages. So their value packages start at $23.80 per person per day, or per device per day, I should say. They have the social that starts at $24.40 per person or device per day, and the premium, which is $25.50 per person or device per day. And the premium allows you to stream and do your social media and all of that. So you have those options available to you. They also have a multi-device premium plan, which is up to 4 devices for $90 a day, and that's your premium Wi-Fi. Royal, they again have dynamic prices, so it can cost up to about $28 per day, but usually I think right now when I looked at it, it's running around $18 to $20 per day, just the last time I looked at it. So you do have that as well. It's usually on sale. Your entertainment that is included. My dogs are about to go crazy because my husband just backed in. I see the tail lights. It's either my husband or my daughter. But the things that are not included as far as entertainment. Now your shows and things are going to be they're going to be included. So like your comedy shows, your like the game shows that you're going to go just watch, those are all included. But what's not included is if you're wanting to be a participant in the game show, like if the Deal or No Deal, I think you can get like cards or something and you can participate. Things like bingo are you pay extra for. Casino, you're going to pay extra for. The arcade, attractions like Carnival has the Bolt roller coaster, that's not included. The animals are going to go crazy because my front door is being open. So I'm going to let them bark for a second. Now they're going to be done because my husband walked in. So your attractions like the Bolt roller coaster, that is going to have a fee. Norwegian has like a race car track on some of their ships. That's going to be at a fee. So those are going to cost you a little bit extra on some of those ships. Some ships have attractions that are not at an extra fee. You know, your miniature golf is going to usually be included. Your pickleball court is going to be included. Those type things are going to be included. Let's see what else I have on my list. Shore excursions. When you get to your ports, if you want to go out on the shore and do whatever event, if you're wanting to do a tour with someone, or you want to go on an excursion, they're going to take you out to the best snorkeling spots, or maybe you want to go zip lining. Those things are going to cost you extra. You can book your excursions through the cruise line. The benefit of doing it through the cruise line is going to be they have a guarantee that they're going to get you back to the ship in time to not miss the ship. If they are late, the ship is not going to leave you because you are on a ship-sponsored excursion. You can also book your excursions through outside companies like Viator or Shore Excursions Group. Oftentimes they will have guarantees that they're guaranteeing to get you back, like especially Shore Excursions Group. They have a guarantee to get you back to your ship on time, and if they don't get you back on time, they're going to cover the cost of getting you back to the ship, among some other things. So those are options. Sometimes you want to go to a port and you don't want to do an excursion. You just want to explore the port. You can do that as well. You just want to make sure you have some money to explore those ports. Find out if you need to get money. If you're taking cash, you want to find out if you need to exchange any money for the local currency. Many ports will take American, the USD, the US dollar, but you do want to find out just to make sure. Or most places will take credit cards, but a lot of some of your local places, they may not. If they're just like a little local mom and pop type place, they may not. But for the most part, you can use a credit card. You'll want to make sure that you include that in your budgeting if you're going to do that. So your shopping, your food, your drink, anything you're going to do in the port, you'll want to make sure you account for that. Also, transportation in the port. If you're wanting to get to a specific beach, you may need to get a taxi ride. I know we're going to Cozumel, and we have booked a day at an all-inclusive, and we're going to need to book transportation to get from the ship. I think we do anyway. Maybe I should check on that. I didn't book it. My friend booked it. So I need to make sure that we don't need, I think we need to get a taxi. I don't think Mr. Sancho's has, as a matter of fact, I'm almost positive they don't have transportation. At any rate, so we'll get a taxi and we'll take it to Mr. Sancho's for the day. We're going to spend the day there. But you want to make sure you have enough money for your transportation to and from your excursions if you're booking them and it's not provided by the cruise line. So spending money for shopping, gratuities for your excursions. If you're doing a tour, like a tour operator, usually you give them a little bit of in gratuities. And also on board the ship, even though they do charge daily gratuities, that goes to it's split among all of the workers, even the back of the house workers. So if you have someone that gives you excellent service on board, so maybe while you're buying a drink, you may tip your bartender an extra $1 or $2 for your drink, or maybe you leave a little extra for your cabin steward, or your server at the restaurant was just phenomenal and, exceptional service. You might leave them a few extra bucks. So smaller bills for that is often appreciated by the crew. Now, in addition to the daily gratuities and taking little bits, the cruise line does charge, and it's pretty standard across all cruise lines, or I should say most cruise lines. It's pretty standard for them to charge on your purchases as well. So they're going to charge a gratuity for when you buy drinks. On Royal, they charge an 18% gratuity on drinks and most onboard purchases. So like your shopping, your food, things like that. They're going to automatically charge an 18% gratuity. They're going to charge a 20% gratuity on spa and salon services. On Carnival, they're going to charge an 18% gratuity across the board for your drinks, your salon, your food, your shopping, all of that. Another thing to keep in mind is when you are in port, if you buy a drink, they are going to charge local tax. So if you buy a drink when you get on the ship and you're still at Port Canaveral, Port Tampa Bay, Port Galveston, wherever you are, and you buy a drink, they're going to charge you the local tax for that. And you'll be charged, if you're in Nassau and you get a drink while you're in port at Nassau, you're going to be charged the VAT tax. So that's something to keep in mind as well. I think I covered most everything. This video has been a little over 25 minutes, and I was thinking I would only be talking like 10. So clearly I know how to run my mouth. But anyway, I hope that you found this information helpful and informative, and that this will be beneficial for you on your next cruise. If you don't have your gratuities set to be paid with your cruise fare, decide how you want to do that. Whether you're going to prepay those gratuities, or if you're going to have those come or be assessed to your account toward the end and you settle up before you get off the cruise. Beyond that, you know what? Just have a fantastic time on your next cruise. I fully intend to have a great time. I got one in March, got one in June, and I absolutely cannot wait. And I can't wait to hear about your cruises. So y'all have a fantastic day.